Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the synchronicities that have been happening that have led me to believe and feel like we have, and by we I mean Richard and I, in this new location have transcended into 5D. So I had a conversation with him last night, and I asked him if he's noticed a big shift that has happened. And he was like, again, he's a very scientific person. So he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I've gotten really curious because it kind of started, with this whole idea of moving. And then in my last ayahuasca ceremony, I was shown that we were looking in the wrong place and that we were looking for the wrong type of property. And then the next day we found this house, and kind of from that moment everything kind of has aligned in so many synchronistic ways that I've gotten curious about all of them. So the first was, and I've talked about him before, Tom, the previous owner of this property, and just the love, that like deep love that man gave to both Richard and I, in so many different ways, has me even like at times questioning, did he really exist? And we're still in communication, so I know his energy is on the planet, but it's like, like how and how does someone like that exist, and how can I receive it? So that was like the first kind of introduction to this higher vibrational being interacting with us, right? And then I've noticed that on this property, like it's a gated, it's gated, but we don't close the gate. But the driveway to come down to the property is very long, so nobody comes down here unless they're asked to come down here. And so that means that we haven't met any of our neighbors, or we haven't had interactions with really people in this town, other than like if we go out to dinner or breakfast or whatever. But I've noticed that anyone that comes to the property, it's like something happens, and the energy that's kind of drawn to us and to them is in a different state of being. So the thing that made me start really being very conscious of this was, I think last week I had a meeting with a wedding planner, and let me just say that I'm excited that Richard and I are getting married, but I also am very introverted. So, and so is he. And we both wanted just a small wedding on this property. And, my mom has been giving me ideas and stuff, but she's a manifesting generator, and very, sometimes it's way too much energy for me to hold. And it was making me feel really uncomfortable with the whole process, because she was going like so big when Richard and I just wanted to be, family and our best friends and simple and just really us. And, she had said, well, you really need to get a wedding planner. And here I'm thinking, dude, we're just having like, I don't know, 20 to 30 people in our backyard. Like, I don't need a wedding planner. But the more that she kept like kind of giving me all these ideas, I finally was like, you know what? I think the issue and why I'm resistant to her and resistant now to the whole planning idea was it just felt overwhelming. So I put out, there's a Facebook group in the town that we live in, and I put out like hey, we're planning a backyard wedding. Does anyone know anyone that is able to help us? We're looking for caterers, like all the things. And this woman, I mean, I got many people that responded, but this one woman emailed me and said, hey, a friend of mine tagged me in your post, and I'm just starting my business, but I think that, we would work well together, and like send me some ideas of what you're thinking. And So we started texting back and forth for like a couple weeks. And finally it came to where we were going to meet in person. And she came, and my mom was here, Richard was here. And so she comes, and it's like, again, it's exactly the energy of Tom. It's like this angelic presence that is, I mean, more than I could ever dream of. She took something that I was feeling so uncomfortable with to grounding it into this time space reality and making it feasible on the realm that I'm okay with, meaning on the simplicity and the like. I don't want to go over the top. Like my mom was talking about putting plexiglass on the pool and, like getting married on top of the pool. And no, all of those things were like, Mom. um, she like grounded it so deeply and had so many good ideas and so much energy that was like nurturing. And so I felt so safe to, like, instead of being in the no, I'm not, I don't want this, like kind of opening myself back up to, wow, that would be cool and that would be fun and I like this idea. And it felt like more fun and more exciting. And I just was like, I mean, everything, to the point of we need to have someone to drive people from the street down to our property, because there's not a lot of space for parking down here. And she was like, oh, I have an off-roading, I don't know what it was, like an amphibian kind of vehicle that can seat 6, and I'll bring it for you that day. You guys can, we'll have one of my kids' friends drive people up and down. She was like, I've got the dishes, I've got this, I've got that, I've got you covered here. Like, just so, I mean, it almost felt like sitting down with my best friend, and it felt like she wants to do it. Like, she literally is so excited to be a part of this experience. And it's so funny because then, I'm sitting there thinking, I had gotten one quote from one other person, and that person, we didn't even meet. We didn't talk about anything. She said her starting quote for wedding planning was $5,000. And I just felt like she didn't even ask what our plans were. And I kind of just felt turned off by that. And so as we get to the end of our meeting with this wedding planner, she goes, I told you that I was just starting my business. I mean, she's done many weddings and events before, but she said, instead of telling you what my fee is, I would rather, and I would feel more comfortable if at the end of this, you guys pay me what you think, how I did, and how, what my worth was in this whole event. And all of a sudden, like, this whole pressure of being this, I don't know, it feels like a corporate structure of once you put wedding on something, it becomes this animal that gets out of control. It felt like relatable and human, and just like I feel like I can open my heart to her, and in those cases, it's almost like your heart being open, you want to give more than what this other one was even asking, because it's real. Like, there's some tangibility to her, and there's like an emotion, there's investment, there's like, I don't know, I just felt like I could not have asked for a better experience or partner to go through this with. So I just was like, wow, this is Tom incarnate in a woman. And then yesterday, Richard and I were leaving for breakfast, and our trash is at the top of the hill. So I was taking out the trash, and down the street walks this little old man with a dog, and we haven't met any of our neighbors up to this point. And he lives like maybe, I don't know, 5 houses down. And he's like, hi, good morning. And so I stopped and chatted with him, and Richard got out of the car so that we could both talk with him. And it turned out that he and his wife were originally from New York, and they retired here. They only had lived here since COVID started, so they were fairly new to this neighborhood as well. and just like the nicest guy. But what I noticed is that, you guys know, I see the matrix all the time, but it's not like the same vibrancy all the time. So it always is the actual, let's say, the actual color, if I had to pick a color for the matrix, is that it's like a charcoal gray that's like transparent, and it becomes less transparent in certain situations, which makes it pop more. So let's say at night, because of the color of it as being so dark, I don't see it usually at night at all because it's dark. But if I'm in a white room, it's like really vibrant. Well, this was the morning and it was daylight. And all of a sudden, as we're talking to this guy, it just becomes, instead of being just like a slight, I would say, background noise or background visual, it kind of came to the forefront and darkened as we're talking to this guy. So I now have gotten curious when like, for example, if I'm at home and all of a sudden I'm in the kitchen and it just pops much stronger than before, I always like stop and like pay attention to what's happening, what's happening in this moment. Why is my vibration going up, so that I can see it so clearly. So as we're talking to him, I'm noticing this is happening, and I'm becoming more curious about him, and we end up talking for a while. And I just, as we get in the car, I'm like, that's interesting that we ran into him. And I told Richard, like, I really saw the matrix around him, and I wonder what that's about. So we go to breakfast and we come back, and we both were doing projects around the house, and this car comes down the drive, and this little old woman gets out, and I heard her. I was inside, Richard was outside, but I hear her just chatting away with Richard. So I go out there, and she's like, "Hi, my name is Carol. I'm Ron's wife. He told me he met you guys." And she's just like right in there. She came in. She was like, "I wanted to come down and introduce myself. I was going to walk down the drive, but my husband said I shouldn't because it's really steep and it's long." And she just was like super cute. And I noticed too, the matrix is strong around her. So we have conversations, normal stuff. She's like, "I'm a vegan," and I told her we're vegetarian, but we had tried to become vegan, but it was so hard. She's like, "Oh no, I'll give you all the recipes I have." Like, just really, really nice woman. But as like we talked for a while, and she left, and that night I had this conversation with Richard. I said, what I'm noticing is that there are certain people that are higher vibration that have come to this property, because not very many people have come here other than our family, literally no one other than delivery people. But every person that's come here and like met us and been here is high vibration, and it's very extreme to me. Like, it's not just that person was nice. It's like an extreme vibration. So I said to him, I think there's a reason that we met them. So we had exchanged numbers with Carol, and she has already texted me about some things. But I said, I think there's a reason that we met them, and their vibration together is much higher than the average person. And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" So I'm explaining to him how I'm starting to notice around people, the matrix becomes, for me, more visible. And it's usually in states that my vibration is higher. So what I'm noticing is that when I'm in the presence of people that also hold a high vibration, it's like the game of this planet, I guess I would call it, the matrix, is more obvious. It's not as transparent. Yeah, I mean, it's like in the exchange of energy between us and these people, I want to say the game, the illusion can't survive in it. The illusion isn't able to reign over what is. So we're talking, and I said, what I'm just noticing is, have we created a bubble around our experience that is only allowing in high vibrational people? And he's like, why, what are you saying? And I said, have you noticed, like, and we're just sitting there kind of working it out together. So it's not like me teaching. It was more like vibing off each other. But I said, I've just noticed that really since February, something changed. Like, in a way, like my brother, who was holding me in a lower vibration, he has never been here. My mom comes out here all the time, and she's helping so much and bringing such another high vibration with her. All of these new people that are coming in are, again, high vibration. And then he goes, oh, and he goes, he works for someone, her name is Ishel. And he's a veterinarian and he's worked for many people, but he literally is in his dream situation now. He gets to practice the medicine that he wants to. There's no rules around it. She's like the most amazing business owner, and he's making so much more money than he ever has because he's happy and he's engaged with it. And he goes, oh, that's kind of like Ishel. And I was like, exactly. And she came in his life in January. So I'm like, something has shifted. And then he starts telling me about how when we sold our other house, I mentioned that we sold it for the exact same amount that we bought this house, but we saved some of the profits from the last house in our account so that he could do investing with the money instead of just putting it all into this mortgage. And in that opened up this relationship between Richard and my mom's husband, which obviously we've known him, but there was never a connection, like there never was an individual connection between him and Richard. But now they talk all the time, and his name is Larry. He does investing, and he's helping Richard like figure out what to do with these investments and whatnot. And I don't really get involved with it because it's not really my thing. But yesterday he tells me, what's weird is that as I've been like working with Larry and talking with Larry, he mentioned the other day that what his goal is to help create enough stability around our finances that I don't have to think about money in the sense of like, I have to go to this job because we need to survive. More of, I get to go to my job to help these animals and help these people in a high vibrational way. He didn't use that word because he's more religious than obviously spiritual, and then he said, and I want that same thing for Gabrielle. I want her to be able to share what she's sharing without having to think about money. Like money will just support you and be around you to serve. And Richard said, when he said it, I kind of stopped and I was like, what? But now that you're bringing this up, we've known Larry for at least 3 years. He's never talked like that to me or Richard before, but it's almost like all of these different parts and pieces are coming together to help inform and move us and elevate us forward. So here's my observation. Each person that comes in your existence, are they bringing you to a higher place where you're just like, oh my God, this is such a miracle this conversation's even happening? Or are they bringing you to a lower place? And what I'm finding is that in our existence, it seems that what's being reflected back is just miracles all of a sudden. And I've been on this path for a while, and there would be like these moments of miracles, but now it's like every new person that comes in and that's allowed into this sphere feels like it's even more elevated than where he and I are. And it makes my heart expand, and it's like the most beautiful opening that happens in these moments where, you could be apprehensive and you could be unsure. And can we look at that? And why do I feel like this is a reflection of the 5D? This is a new way to look at life. Like the more that we can detach from the kind of crazy, chaotic stuff going on outside of our lives, does that mean that you create a bubble of only high vibrational existence that then only attracts in what you are? I sit here now and I cannot understand it any other way. So then today, as a reflection that I was ready to share this experience was in the Energy Tribe Circle. I've talked about, we have a Telegram group chat, and one of my sisters shared that there's this woman named Allison COE. She's an incredible hypnotherapist with a great library of sessions and information on YouTube. She doesn't usually share a session, but but when a new one comes out, it's usually profound. And then she shared this particular session, which she had a lot of affirmations for her. And so she thought that it would resonate with everyone else in the group, which I'm going to share that link below. So if you feel called to tune into it, I only started listening to the first part of it, but it was like affirmation after affirmation that yes, this is what's happening. We are dividing in the most beautiful way. Like, there is nothing wrong with this division in my eyes. It's like people are choosing to stay in the I mean, people call it low vibration, but I would say, and what this channel talked about it as is a like complacency, not having sovereignty over your own manifestation in your own life, and just kind of being blind to the things that come and go throughout your experience. Like she says in one part, you'll go through Christmas after Christmas after Christmas, and nothing will feel like it's changing. It all feels like I mean, she didn't use this words, but I feel it as a Groundhog Day, where there's no change, no excitement, no growth. You're either in that vibration or you're in a higher octave where it's like not even, I'm not talking like little miracles. I'm talking like, again, soul opening miracles. That to me is 5D. And that feels like all of a sudden my existence, at least as me recording this, has been 100% in 5D. But then I also think, is that why I've been called to go back in and reground into this new existence? Because it's a totally different, I don't know how to explain it, like a totally different feeling. I can't just share ideas and downloads that come anymore, because I have to embody them and understand them and feel them, which is a lot different than the way I was sharing before. And I think that is also part of taking responsibility from this perspective, because I don't want to be sharing any falsities. I mean, I never have. And I mean, obviously it's an evolution. And when I share from my heart and what I believe is truth. But this is like taking it to a different level, almost like exploring a new land and the vision from this land. And can I hold the same authenticity and the same compassion and the same, I don't know, journey that I have been up until this point? That's what feels like it's much bigger than who I used to be could hold. So that's when I talk about regrounding. It's regrounding in that truth, and in regrounding in the space that I'm still just me and I'm still just on this journey, but there's a different level to it. And I would say that we all are capable to find that 5D within our own experience, because it's not about going to another location. It's about bringing that energy in. And I believe the more light that we each bring into this planet, into our own bubbles, like our own spheres, that bubble just grows and starts encapsulating others within it. And that's the part that's exciting for me. Like, I wonder if, would all of these like earth angels be angels all the time? Like, here's a weird conversation. So Tom, who I describe as the actual angel living on this planet, We met one of his friends that he used to play soccer with. He came here to give us a quote on some turf. And he goes, "Oh yeah, Tom's cool. He's really goofy, but he's a cool guy." And I looked at him and I was like, no, he's an angel." Like, wait, you didn't see that side of him? And he was like, "Well, I mean, no, in soccer, I mean, I didn't see that side of him at all." And I was like, thinking about it, do we activate that angel essence, that like purity in each other? Did he show up for us in that vibration because we were also in that vibration? We each have the ability to bring out the highest points of ourselves in every moment, but do we choose to? And I can say this myself. I keep to myself most of the time because I don't know that I can, and I'm still working on that. But I think that that's like the goal, is to grow out that energy bubble, that sphere of light more and more, so that it infiltrates more and more people and allows them to see their higher self in their own existence. So I think, are we there yet? Yeah, I do. I 100% do. And I feel like my body just got goosebumps, even though I'm freezing and I'm wearing this big sweater. I know we're there. I know that the earth is changing, and I know that we're cultivating it and we're growing it. There is no one else outside of our own existence that is doing that. And the people that reflect it back to you are the ones that see you. And like, really think about that. All it is a remembrance. We all carry the knowing, and it's just remembering that you know that feeling, that essence, that recognition, and then it lights it up in you. And ultimately, that is exactly what we're doing here. And I am just so in awe of the journey, and just, I'm going to cry, because to me, the idea that we all can find this space together, it's so empowering, and it's just so beautiful. So I hope that you guys know that you can find that within yourself, and that I am here to reflect it back to you whenever possible. So thank you so, so much for being here.